right, guys, welcome again to Sipping and Ripping with Rich, aka the Happy Collector. Thanks for stopping by. On my mission of 2021 to connect sports card hobby fam to the new players and platforms out there that are making our hobby better and more innovative. Today I have with me Eric Doty, creator of the Loupe App. Eric, thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
I appreciate it. So I discovered the Loupe App, honestly, through Instagram, and I saw some very positive posts about it. What I've seen, and I've downloaded the app myself, I see live streaming for sports card breaks, the blog with sports card information. But if you wouldn't mind basically walking the audience through what the Loupe App is and what your mission is, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so the whole app is really built for breaks right now. So if you're an approved vendor or seller, you can come and use the app and actually broadcast and sell goods. And everyone that buys through the app, they do not have to leave and pay via PayPal or any external site. All the purchasing happens right there in the live stream.
Okay.
And that's the big value for the breakers. We simplify everything. It's very easy to stream. It's very easy to list your items, and then everything is self-contained. We give the shipping info. When you ship, you can put the tracking info directly in the app. So when people look at their purchase history, it's all there. And for the buyers, if you want to buy in the breaks, we have people streaming pretty much every day at lunch, and then from 6 or 7 p.m. East Coast time till well past midnight, we just have breaks going all the time. Personals, mixers, team breaks.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we try to do push notifications pretty regularly. If there's like a big promotion or something different that we want you to see, we definitely do a push notification. So if you have the app and push notifications are enabled, you will have more than enough breaks for you to join and just watch and talk to people about sports cards.
That's awesome. I do have the app, and I do get it's not just a notification. There are these fun little messages. It definitely makes me pop in to check out what's going on in there. And I've seen some pretty cool stuff, a lot of product. And I noticed in the live stream, you go over to the product section, and it literally looks like it's simple as clicking a button to basically check out an item.
Yeah, we've really tried to remove all the friction of, when you stream on YouTube or Instagram, there's sometimes a longer latency, sometimes 10 seconds or longer. Ours is about a 20th of a second.
Oh, wow.
So I could say, pick a number 1 to 10, and the chat is just immediately lighting up with numbers. There's no delay. And the purchasing, and the reason I say that is because the purchasing is also, it's one tap and then another for confirmation. So I think we timed it from going live, listing an item, and then completing the purchase can be done in like 12 seconds or less. If you're ready to go, it's so fast. And it happens. Like, we definitely have people who are just kind of camped out on the app all night waiting, because sometimes people will come up with hot product like 20 to 21 NBA hoops just went live.
It's on fire right now. Just watching one of those streams right now, a couple minutes before I join you.
Yeah, and sometimes, it depends on who's on, but sometimes those get wiped immediately. It's it's the hot new product. Yeah, it's been great. We try to just try to remove all the friction so you can focus on the fun and the cards and not so much on going somewhere else and then waiting for things to process.
That's great. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your background with sports cards?
Yeah, it's a little different for me because I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, south of Buffalo, New York. So we couldn't really go to professional. I think we had a minor league baseball team, but we couldn't go to big events. Closest was Buffalo Bills, and that was over an hour away. Yeah. So my connection to a lot of sports was through sports cards. I think my peak was probably around 93, I think was Jeter rookie year.
Okay.
Which I recently just fired my mom through all my gold Jeters away. But that happened like 4 years ago, but I just found out about it. still a little bitter about it. For me, it was collecting a lot as a kid. That was my connection to professional sports, collecting with my dad. And then, like probably a lot of people, I took a big break. There's just like the oversaturation. I had binders upon binders and boxes. And maybe a couple of years ago, streetwear and shoes were huge. And I started to see a little bit about sports cards. I'm like, hey, that's great. I love sports. It's a really fun way to collect. It's got that surprise factor. Yeah. And also just, I move a lot for jobs. I've always moved and lived in smaller apartments. So I can't have a wall of collectibles, but I could definitely have a bunch of sports cards. And as I was getting into it, I was started to follow accounts on Instagram and eventually fell into breaks. And immediately, my background is 12 years in product, working in video games.
Oh, okay.
And as I was interacting, buying in and then going to PayPal and coming back to the stream, immediately it just lit up of like, I've worked in games and mobile apps so long, like this can be simplified. That has to be. If I'm a newbie and I'm this frustrated with this process, I can't imagine what it's like doing every night or every week. So that's ultimately how Loupe came about, is just me personally going, this can be a lot better. And ultimately, a few months later, we came out with an app to do that.
That's great. When did you guys launch?
We launched in the last week of October. So we've only been out for about 3 months.
Okay, great. If I'm someone who wants to participate in a break, what would you say the biggest pro would be? Because some of the concerns I've seen from people have been around, well, can I trust this person? Is this person going to actually deliver cards to me? What's the quality going to be? The shipping going to be? What are the pros to go with you as opposed to going to outside of your app, if you will? And
this is a thing that I've run into myself, and hopefully we can solve for everyone, is when I follow a bunch of accounts on Instagram, you're getting notifications the moment you open the app, it's so-and-so is live. Yep. And then, they're doing breaks. But it's tough when you're coming from the outside because you have no idea, like, is this person real? Or, is this their fifth account? Are they really doing this as a business, or is this someone that's potentially running a scam? Or maybe they're not running a scam, but they're just not professional about it. Like, I don't want to get cards that are, not packaged well. So for us, we vet every breaker that's on the platform, and we also continue to review them. So I buy from all of them. Like, is their packaging good? Is their shipping relatively fast enough that it's not going to cause concern for anybody? Are they putting all the tracking info into the app so buyers can see it? And that's really big for us, is that anybody that you buy from on Loupe, even if it's your very first stream, very first break, we can guarantee a certain level of quality and trust so that you should be walking away going, I would be okay buying from them again. And luckily we haven't had any issues. I feel like we do a pretty good job, but if somebody did potentially run a scam, or, they're getting sloppy and they're having issues, we would revoke their access to Loupe.
Okay.
Again, we're just going to assume that every stream and every break is somebody's first time on the app. And that's a really powerful moment for somebody to immediately earn their trust. And we're not going to risk that with somebody that doesn't take it seriously.
No, that's great. I was going to ask, was there a vetting and application process? So that level of trust is a great added feature. If I wanted to become a breaker on your app, what would the process be like?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You just email support@loupetheapp.com, and that's LOUPE. It's the little magnifying glass you use to look at cards and jewelry. That's where that
right here.
Yeah. So support@loupetheapp.com. Email us and just let us know. And it's usually me. I'll just reply with a link to it. We have a form that you can fill out. Okay. It's like 10 questions of just, where do you break? Do you have any videos we can look at? What do you typically sell? Just real basic stuff so we can get a good idea, because we also, on top of vetting you to make sure you're running a legit business, we also want to really round out our roster, so to speak, of breakers. So we have one hockey breaker. And right now that's kind of enough. We have one or two soccer breakers, but as we look to expand to Canada, there's probably going to be more demand for hockey. And it would be great for us to know, oh, we have 5 people who are applied and who are hockey breakers. We should probably look at them. Baseball season's coming up, and making sure we have enough people that just specialize in baseball. Because for me, I do breaks for fun. Like, it's every once in a while I do it as like a promotion, or we did like a $10,000 NBA break, but I am by no means an expert about any particular sport. I definitely have gaps in knowledge about certain years or certain players. So when we think about roster and trust, as well as if you're a big baseball fan, you probably want to buy from someone who's as knowledgeable or even more knowledgeable than you about the sport and the players.
Absolutely.
So we look at that as well, especially as like seasons get going. We know that, buzz and new products coming out.
That's great. So Eric, do you see your platform expanding to people who say want to live stream selling singles of cards?
Yeah, we actually already do that. So we have singles. We do some repacks, basically across the board. If it's cards, we deal with it. We don't do razzes. That's the only real strict rule we have for
smart.
Razzes, no raffles. We want people to be guaranteed something. So ideally, it's product that's packaged by the manufacturers. If it's a repack, comps need to be equal or more than the cost of the pack.
That's great.
We have rules around that, like you need to be getting the value that you paid for. And then singles, you can price anything you want, any way you want, because people know exactly what they're getting. And probably our biggest one is basketball card guy from Instagram. He'll usually come on with a row of 30 cards. And it's great because it's a little history lesson too, because he'll talk about who the player is, what the card is, if there's something special about it.
That's
or
great.
He got it from somewhere that means something to him. And he'll have it listed for sale. And if somebody buys it on the spot, he talks about it a little bit more, or he sets it aside and he goes to the next card. And it's usually higher end cards from tens of dollars to $1,000 plus. And it's really cool just to see a wide range. And it's, again, I think we talked a lot about breaks, but what's interesting to me is it's almost like a card show experience.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of evolving to that a little bit, where we have a little bit of everything. And if you really just want to sit down with someone and talk about cards and buy individual ones, you can do that as well.
That's great. That's great. So there's a lot of influencers out there involved in the sports card market. Mm-hmm. On one side, you have a guy like Vegas Dave saying it's going to crash in the year. On the other side, you have Gary Vee, who says we haven't even seen the pinnacle of sports card yet. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? For
me, I mean, there's a lot of people throwing a lot of opinions about Gary Vee, but the one thing I definitely do not doubt is Gary Vee's dedication to research. And he even says it, like, if you are brand new to sports cards and you're going to throw money around, you need to be spending thousands of hours reading about it. And if you're going to treat sports cards like stocks, you're not going to buy into a stock and not know anything about the company.
Exactly.
Like throw money around. Like, you need to spend the time. And so if he's saying an opinion or, making a prediction like that, I think there's probably enough research to back it that I would probably agree with it. And I do agree. I mean, he's probably done way more research than I have. And I would say
either of us have.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think there's still plenty of room for this market to grow, and it will ebb and flow. And it's always frustrating to see the YouTube channels pop up, like the NBA season ends and the prices, as expected, go down because it's just not like the hot topic at the moment. Yep. And then you see like the screaming face thumbnail for a video like, oh my God, NBA cards, the bubble is burst, prices are going down. And it's like, no, that's just the ebb and flow of the market. And then you see baseball go up. So I think across the board, you're going to see all the sports continue to grow. I actually think you're going to see a lot of adjacent markets catch up. Yep. So, Pokemon was probably the next biggest one, and we've already seen that go up, and it's continuing to go up. Dragon Ball Z cards, like old Dragon Ball Z cards, I've noticed already are starting to get a nice little bump. So I think if it's a trading card over the next probably year or two, it's going to keep going up. And I think that's a safe bet. But as I tell all of my friends who they play video games, they don't really follow cards so much, but they know I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. They're like, I want to get in. I want to buy cards. I think this is really cool. And the first thing I say is, all right, what sports do you like? What teams do you like? What players do you like? And just start there. Buy things that you like, not necessarily because you think that it's going to grow 10 to 100x in value. I think you're going to, again, it comes down to the research. So start with things that you just like. And if it's worthless, you're still going to like it. And then as you start to learn, then you can look at buying into things that you think might increase in value.
No, I think that's a great way to put it. You know, I personally, I do think we're going to see a correction on certain things like base rookie cards. I think are overpriced. I think we've overgraded to some degree as well. So I do think a correction will happen, but I think the ebbs and flows like you're talking about, I think are going to be there, especially at the end of seasons, beginning of seasons. But personally, I don't feel like we've seen the absolute pinnacle yet as well either. And like you're right, Gary Vee, who does more research than that guy? Whether you love him or hate him, the guy does a ton of research. You know, the Loupe app is available obviously in the United States and on Apple. What are your plans outside the United States and onto other platforms like Android?
So Android should be coming in March.
Okay.
Likely towards the latter half of March. Canada is maybe coming in February. If not, it'll come in March. We've only been around for 3 months. The response from the community has been way bigger than we anticipated. We were like, oh, we're going to release this. We're going to test. We're going to get some purchases and traction, and then we'll keep building. And then it'll be, this big thing. And almost within 2 weeks, it was obvious that we were just very surprised at how much volume there was. And we've had hundreds of people reach out to us to become breakers on the app. And, we're just trying to play catch up. So
absolutely,
we definitely we want to be in Canada. We want to have Android out as soon as possible. Everything that if you use the app and you're like, wow, I really wish they had this feature, it's probably on our roadmap. we all use the app ourselves. I mean, I've spent tons of money with our breakers, and I'm like, oh, I really wish I had this feature, or I wish I could do this. So there's so much more on the way. If you check it out, please be patient, and you can always reach out to us at support@loupeapp.com, and most of the time it's just me responding. We're a team of 6. Like, we're still pretty small.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Are there additional fees to buy from your app?
No, all the prices are the total.
Okay, great.
It includes shipping. That might change with Canada. There might be a little additional fee that pops up. We are looking at things like state taxes. Obviously, if they apply, those will get added. But we don't put any additional fee on the buyer. It's all on the seller side.
Okay.
But all that's handled behind the scenes. And those fees are very market competitive. They're well under eBay. And we mostly have fees just to handle the cost of the bandwidth. So running a live streaming service obviously carries a cost with it for streaming video.
Absolutely.
So we handle fees on the back end to cover that.
Perfect. So, and the app itself to download is free.
100% free.
Awesome. So I could download it today, start buying right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Great.
Yep. I think we have a stream right now, actually. I think he went live 20 minutes ago. I've pretty much memorized all of the schedules now. So yeah, if you're looking for something in particular, it's probably on the app, especially if it's recent.
So if I have an Apple phone, what's the best way to go to the App Store and just put the Loupe app in the search?
If you search for Loupe, L-O-U-P-E, or if you go to loupeapp.com, it's like right on the front page. There's a download button.
I think this is a pretty cool concept. So again, thank you for your time today, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
So once again, a big thank you to Eric Doty, founder of the Loupe app. I've checked it out. It's super easy to use. I've seen a few of the TikTok breakers that I've met on the app as well, like Bailey Joe Cards I saw streaming on there the other day. So check it out. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think. And as always, happy collecting and good luck.